Narumi Kurosaki grew up in a family of 5, with her parents and 2 younger sisters, Honami and Kurumi, from 2011 to 2014. She attended Tokyo Metropolitan Kokusai High School. Narumi was 21 years old when she arrived in France on the 26th of August, 2016, to study at the University of Franche-Comté, in the city of Besançon. There, she took French classes at the Center for Applied Linguistics, before joining the Faculty of Economics in January. Narumi lived in a student room on the 2nd floor of the Theodore Rousseau Residence Hall, located on the La Boulogne campus. His ex-boyfriend Nicolas Humberto Zepeda Contreras, born the 11th of December 1990, was born into a Chilean family of 3 children. His father, Humberto Zepeda, is one of the main executives of the telecommunications provider Movistar. His mother, Ana Contreras, is an engineer who worked as a secretary to Senator Francisco Hunchumilla at the time, and also worked in the Human Resources Department of the Municipality of La Serena. Nicolas grew up with his twin sisters, Belen and Josefa, in Temuco in the south of the country, attending Colegio Centenario until 2008 and obtaining his high school diploma in 2009. The family moved to Antofagasta and later to La Serena. Nicolas studied administrative sciences at the University of Chile after the case became public. Various members of Zepeda's family were harassed by journalists. In 2014, Nicolas arrived in Japan to continue his studies, where he met Narumi during October at a party held on the campus of the University of Tsukuba. They began a romantic relationship in February 2015, and the couple traveled to Chile from September 6 to October 1, 2015, where Nicolas introduced her to his family as his partner. Nicolas left Japan in 2015 at the end of his university year, but returned on April 12, 2016, to look for work, according to statements by Nicolas himself. Narumi officially ended her romantic relationship with him shortly after arriving in France on October 6. Zepeda left Japan on October 9. In Besançon, Narumi met new people, including Arthur Del Piccolo, a student at the Higher National School of Mechanics and Microtechnology, who became her new boyfriend. On Sunday the 4th of December 2016, Narumi went to her dance class as usual, leaving at around 4:00 p.m. in the night between Sunday and Monday, at around 3:20 a.m. About 15 students from the residence where Narumi was staying heard screams followed by a thud. Rachel Hope, a British student, then messaged a friend, "I'm scared. I heard a noise like someone was being killed." Another student, Nabi Drissi, went out into the hallway to investigate, but was not able to determine the source of the sounds. The following day, Narumi's classmates were concerned about her absence from class, stating that the Japanese girl had never missed a class. Over the next few days, Narumi's family and friends received messages from her phone via text and social media claiming that she had a problem with her passport and needed to go to the Japanese consulate in Lyon. On the 6th of December, her bank card was used to purchase a one-way train ticket to Lyon. However, all the train passengers who occupied seats close to the one assigned on her ticket claimed not to have seen any young women resembling Narumi. Other messages reached her relatives in the following days, indicating that she had a new boyfriend and that she was going alone. No more messages were received after the 12th of December. On December 14th, the Center for Applied Linguistics in Besançon alerted the police, who entered Narumi's room on the 15th of December in the late afternoon. Upon quickly realizing the seriousness of the situation, investigators initially suspected Arthur, Narumi's new boyfriend. During his interrogation, Del Piccolo mentioned Narumi's former Chilean lover, Nicolas Zepeda Contreras, whom he presented to investigators as a jealous and possessive man who had even hacked into his Facebook accounts. Initially, this information was not considered decisive given the geographical distance. However, thanks to the geolocation of Narumi's phone, investigators discovered that she was in a restaurant on the night of the 4th of December, and that the bill had been paid with a Chilean bank card. In fact, on the night of Sunday the 4th of December, Narumi Kurosaki and Nicolas Cepeda Contreras had dinner at La Table di Gustavi restaurant in the small town of Ornans, located about 20 kilometers south of Bisankan. A camera recorded them leaving the restaurant at 9:57 p.m. and then at 10:58 p.m. Other surveillance footage recorded their arrival at Narumi's college dorm. According to Zepeda's own testimony, the screams were in reality Narumi's moans, as the couple allegedly had sex for 2.5 hours after arriving at her dorm. Cepeda was the last person to see Narumi alive. As of June 2022, Narumi's body has not been found. The police entered room 106, Narumi's, on December 15th at 5:31 p.m. and found it to be perfectly tidy. Although Narumi's friends pointed out that she was usually quite messy, specifically, her only coat was found at the scene, even though winter had begun, along with her laptop and wallet, containing €565 in cash. As the police took inventory of Narumi's belongings, they realized that a blanket, a suitcase, her passport, and her phone were missing. The fingerprints taken from a cup, after analysis, showed that they belonged to Nicolas Cepeda Contreras. From the DNA reconstructed from the fingerprints, investigators found traces of the suspect on a water bottle, a t-shirt, the walls, the bathroom floor, and the edge of the sink. The French police also found samples of the victim's blood on the emergency door, which Cepeda used as he exited the building. Juan Felipe Ramirez Contreras, the cousin of Nicolas Cepeda, who spent 5 days with him in Barcelona before his return to Chile, was questioned by Catalan police on January 24, 2017. He provided several worrying details about their conversations during this stay. Nicolas Cepeda had hidden his meeting with Narumi in Bisankan, explaining that he had simply come to Europe to participate in a conference in Geneva. Cepeda also asked Ramirez, who was a medical student, about death by suffocation. Ramirez also revealed that he was surprised by a phrase used by Nico, which he referred of Narumi in the past tense. Narumi really liked the sea. On December 23, 2016, police identified her ex-boyfriend Contreras, who had already fled Europe to Chile, as the main suspect in her disappearance. Contreras had traveled to France a few days before to visit her. Europol issued an international arrest warrant for his arrest for kidnapping, forcible confinement and arbitrary detention December 28, 2016. The French authorities reclassified Narumi's disappearance as a homicide. On December 29, 2016, police confirmed that Contreras had fled the country for Chile, with a stop in Spain, where he stayed for about a week to visit his cousin. Contreras never denied that he last saw Narumi in her campus apartment that night, but he insists that she was in perfect health when he left her, on January 5, 2017. GPS data retrieved from the car that Contreras had rented from Geneva Airport led investigators to the forest of Chaux in search of Narumi's body in February 2017. The Supreme Court of Chile rejected France's request to arrest Contreras. In 2018, the search for Narumi's body came to an end. Despite protests from her family who had traveled to France, the request for extradition can only be made once. And so the public prosecutor of Bisankan, Etienne Manteau, decided to wait until the authorities had sufficient evidence against Contreras. In April of 2019, Manteau, the investigative judge, 2 investigators, and a translator flew to Santiago, Chile to interrogate for the first time the only suspect in the murder of Narumi. If the extradition failed, they could transfer the court proceedings to Chile or take him to court in France and try him in absentia. The French legal team asked Contreras a total of 95 questions via the Chilean judge, but Contreras chose to remain silent to all of them. In July 2020, the Supreme Court of Chile extradited Contreras to France, even though no such agreement exists between the two countries. The high-profile trial for murder without a body started in March of 2022 in Besançon, France, and lasted 2 weeks. His lawyer was Milefont, the same Persian law who defended Nicolas Sarkozy in his corruption case. During all these years, Narumi's room at the university building remained intact and sealed following a judicial order. A jury of 9 persons, 3 men, 3 women and 3 magistrates, all carrying equal vote, deliberated for a few hours and found Contreras guilty of murder. On the 12th of April 2022, he was sentenced to life imprisonment. Day after his sentence, Contreras appealed his conviction. The appeal was scheduled to be tried in Vesoul, a town about 50 kilometers north of Besançon, from February 21st until March 10, 2023. The judge allowed the new defense lawyer, who took over the case, to study the case for a few days, so the appeal procedure is delayed. On February 21st, a retrial started. Zepeda appealed his sentence, which was planned to conclude on the 10th of March 2023. But it had to be temporarily suspended as Lefont dropped the case, leaving Zepeda with no lawyer. This time, Zepeda's defense team hopes to include Contreras continues to maintain his innocence. The appeal was scheduled to be tried in Vesoul, a town about 50 kilometers north of Besançon, from February 21st until March 10, 2023.